Welcome to the blog that looks at housing headlines and asks, what does the data actually say?
Today we're covering posts from Christopher Gargulo on why the market is holding up better than the doom and gloom narrative suggests, what to do when your home listing stalls out, and how contingencies protect buyers when a deal gets complicated.
Let's start with the state of the market itself.
The central claim here is that the housing market is being judged against the wrong baseline. The pandemic years were, in the Post's own framing, a once-in-a-generation anomaly, and comparing today to that makes a fundamentally solid market look broken.
The equity picture is the real anchor. The Post puts it plainly. Total homeowner equity across the country sits at $35 trillion, dwarfing total mortgage debt.
What that means in practice is that most homeowners have a cushion. They're not one rough month away from a forced sale. Realtor.com data in the Post shows homeowners in their home 5 years have built roughly $180,000 in equity on average. 6 to 10 years, over $340,000.
So the foreclosure wave people keep waiting for isn't materializing because the underlying financial position of homeowners is just structurally different from 2008.
Right. ATTOM data cited in the Post shows foreclosure volumes remain dramatically below historical norms, despite a slight recent uptick.
And prices aren't crashing either. They're just decelerating, which is actually the healthy part.
That's exactly the point made in the companion piece on what's driving price variation by region. Inventory is the single factor that explains why some markets are still seeing gains while others have gone flat or dipped slightly. As Lance Lambert puts it, home prices are still climbing a little year over year in many regions where active inventory remains well below pre-pandemic 2019 levels, such as pockets of the Northeast and Midwest. In contrast, some pockets in states like Texas, Florida, and Colorado, where active inventory exceeds pre-pandemic 2019 levels by a solid clip, are seeing modest home price pullbacks or flat pricing.
So the national average of roughly 1.7% price growth is technically accurate and also almost completely uninformative, depending on where you live.
Which brings us to sellers, specifically the ones whose homes didn't move at all.
When a listing expires without selling, the instinct is to wait for the market to shift. The Post argues that's usually the wrong call. What needs to change is the approach, not the calendar.
There's data behind that. Research from RedX, cited in the Post, shows that homeowners who relist with a different agent are more likely to sell, and sell faster than those who reuse the same one.
The Post walks through 5 specific failure points: pricing above what buyers will actually pay, weak first impression photography, passive marketing that blends into the MLS, no system for collecting and acting on showing feedback, and deals that collapse because there's no plan for negotiation.
The pricing point hits hardest. The Post's framing is blunt. If your price isn't compelling, it's not selling. That's not a market problem. That's a strategy problem. And the fix is straightforward. Pull fresh comparable sales data, price to attract buyers rather than test them, and treat feedback from showings as actionable signal rather than background noise. The right contingency protections for buyers matter on the other side of that same transaction. For buyers, the question is what contractual protections you should actually expect to have in place before you're locked into a deal.
The guide on mastering contingencies lays out 5: financing, home inspection, appraisal, title, and sale of current home. The core logic is that contingencies serve as safety nets that protect buyers from unforeseen issues, ensuring that the home purchase aligns with their expectations and financial commitments.
So the upshot is that each contingency addresses a specific way a deal can go sideways: a denied mortgage, a structural problem uncovered at inspection, an appraisal that comes in below the agreed price, a title with unresolved liens, or a buyer who hasn't sold their existing home yet.
Knowing which ones apply to your situation and how to negotiate around them is what separates a buyer who's protected from one who's exposed.
Equity, inventory, strategy, protection, it's all connected. The market isn't broken, It just requires more deliberate navigation than it did a few years ago.
Next time, we'll see what else is on the blog. More to come.